you're gonna ask someone. You just ask someone, you Google it. All college exams should be open book, and it should be full cumulative material all the way back to the beginning. Because it teaches you how to be resourceful. It teaches you how to look.
All right. Okay.
So true.
Okay.
So true.
All right.
Even in high school, even in high school, like.
All right, but are you saying they should be timed in open book? Like obviously the class ends, but like time, like is that the caveat?
Yeah, it's just like a normal exam. You have like what, a 2-hour window to take it to finish it, and it should be open book.
Can you talk to other people while doing it, or is this like a math thing? Like should be open book, or is
anything? I think any college test should be open book, open note. Some, if you're doing like a group project, you could maybe do a group test, but it's unrealistic to like like the example we used earlier, like, oh, you're not going to be able to use a calculator when you're in real life situations. Like, yeah, I am.
So should people be able to use their phones in their computer? Is that open note?
I think in this example, I think maybe at the most computer. Best case scenario, you're going to have your computer, but I don't know about being able to phone a friend. Real life scenario, I don't know about that.
I think it's being able, computer for sure. Like being able to find the answer yourself. I agree with that. But it's like
you're gonna give us the ability to phone a friend too. Come on now,
that's too much.
He might as well come take it for me. You know what
I was going.
But like if schools go that route though, I think you have to make. That's why all tests have to be cumulative, because sometimes classes will be like, we'll only test you on things that from the last test until now. But no, it's like so it's full material.
Okay.
So the tests are going to be harder, but you're going to have more resources.
Okay. You'll have more resources. You'll have the same amount of time, but you'll have more complexity probably to every question.
Exactly.
I feel like this kind of only applies to math, but I feel where you're going.
I think it can apply to like finance and like other things as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the most important lesson I think that people need to learn is how to ask the right questions.
Yeah. And I think that's true. And that's the only reason I think I agree with you that like maybe you have a point, is because people do need to be resourceful and they need to figure out how to ask the right questions. And you should have all of that stuff at the very least in your notes. Even if it wasn't open book, you should have all that stuff in your notes. So like I kind of agree with you on that. Because like I got it. Jeez, you didn't think we all off with this.
Yeah, I know. I threw you. I mean, it's a tough one, especially because you and I went through a different experience going through school.
Yeah.
And
I might have had open book for algebra, and I still feel that mug. It's very possible.
Hey, some people have some people have everything at their fingertips and they'll still fail.
Oh gosh! All right, podcast over.
Yeah, I mean, just
that's a whole message right there.
Yeah,
somebody could have everything at their fingertips and still fail.
Yeah. Look at the Warriors.
Oh my goodness, getting
on blast today.
Bro, they got all the talent, all the money. Jordan Poole got the bag and he said, "Peace, I'm done."
Oh, and today. All right, let's go to the world. Like, why do you think that is? Like, why do people? And I'm trying not to think of like, because I feel like a lot of times we think of the what do you call it, the trust fund kid. We're talking about something like this, and it's like, oh, the trust fund kid, and it hasn't amounted to anything. Like, let's try our best to like X that person out. But like, why the Warriors or a team that has everything in their fingertips? Like, why? I'm gonna tell you right now, algebra, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so they started throwing letters in there, and I was like, after middle school, I was like, oh, where these letters come from? I was asking the teacher, am I in the wrong class? Like, what's going on?
I think I don't know. It's a good question. I think if we knew the answer on this podcast, we'd be millionaires because we'd solve our education crisis in this country.
But I don't know if we can solve the education crisis.
Exactly. I think we can speculate, right? Like I don't think it matters where you come from, what your background is. I think it plays a part. But at the end of the day, it's just like, can you imagine trying to teach be in a classroom trying to teach a bunch of 16-year-olds trying to keep their attention? Like think back when we were 16, like what did you care about? I didn't give a shit about school. I just wanted to
I did, which is interesting. I want to bring this up. A lot of people talk about like, yo, if I learn, because we're talking about education right now and how it's kind of useless from our perspective, levels of
Say,
education.
if you say personal finance, I'm gonna instantly shoot you down.
Personal finance. No, just kidding. No, but actually, no. People are like, yo, personal finance, or if I learned about taxes and all this stuff.
I hard disagree.
I agree. I like people always say that, but go lightly. I think I already know me and Kenny on the same page with this. We might have even had this conversation at one point, but go lightly, what you think? If you would have had a tax class or a real estate class, or I was in a business class, and I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the best classes that I ever went through in my high school career. But what do you think? Is it beneficial? I'm kind of setting you up right here.
Yeah, I think it depends on where it's coming from.
That's
it. Just like any other curriculum, I don't want no, yeah, it's a great idea to have a tax class, but I don't want a tax class that's coming from somebody that never specialized in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or somebody that's just reading over some context and then just dishing it out to us.
That's a good example. Yeah.
I think if the quality is there and the experience to make it a real, learning experience for us, and I'm all game, but if I had a kid right now and they say, yeah, we're gonna block off, so we're gonna block off X amount of hours per semester for him to learn, taxes or finance. I'm say, okay, from who? Where did they learn it? No, don't put that on there. No, don't. You're not about to waste his time. You about to teach him a whole bunch of nothing. So
depend on the expert.
The expertise, the delivery, everything. I'm not a big fan of what I call the white noise. Just like it's a great idea, but we're taking a shot on hope behind execution or the how effective it is.
Yeah. I'm like you, man. Leo, I had a business class in high school, one of my favorite classes, right? I took accounting for a whole year. We even like did we filled out like, W-4s and shit in the class. And then like when I got my summer job and I had to fill out a tax form, I had no idea what the fuck to do. All I remembered was just put 0 for everything.
Yeah.
And then they go and change the damn form.
I was gonna say I'm in the same boat right now. I still don't know how to fill one out. I always reference back to my old ones.
Yeah. But like now you have to actually take exceptions out. Dude, taxes, my issue is like if adults can't figure it out, what's a high school kid gonna do? Like they're not gonna pay attention.
That's true.
Okay, so this is my point. What you just said is that I think that now I would appreciate a tax class, but then I wouldn't appreciate it because it doesn't have relevance to me.
Yep. In
so
hindsight,
even if we gave all those classes, whether it's in middle school, high school, the super beneficial ones that everyone's asking for now, at that time, it doesn't have relevance to you. It's not important. Someone else is going to do it. I'm not going into real estate. Why do I have to take this real estate class? Why do I need to know how to do this and that? With taxes, that's what my mom's a CPA. My mom, like there's all kinds of things like that. I think we would probably throw in the mix.
I think that's relating this to like the workforce. That's one of the things that helps you like climb the ladder essentially and go into like more of a leadership position is thinking of the bigger picture while you're thinking about your everyday decisions.
Explain that a little bit more.
So essentially for me, like my career path, like I want to become a manager. And some of the feedback that I received from my manager is start thinking about the bigger picture more. How do my actions, how does my work affect like other parts of the company, right? And so even like we're all parts of the machine, and if you want to be a more significant part or be a more a higher member, you have to start thinking about how you affect other people, how you can help other people. Like you have to start thinking about more than just what your plate basically.
Yeah kind of like acting in the present, but like being able to have that vision
you have to be able to have that the foresight to see ahead of you and think. And so it's tough. And it's something that like I'm not good at right now because I've never really been challenged like this before, right? Like it's a muscle that's really weak for me. I've always been concerned with, okay, here's my work, here's how it affects everyone around me, like on my team specifically, or like the immediate impact. Gotcha. Maybe I'll think a couple steps down the line, but being able to remove yourself and think that big picture, like how does this plan into the whole scheme of things? Oh, if I do this, like what is this team down the like over 3 departments over doing? It's like that's a muscle that a lot of managers and a lot of leadership have, is being able to think about how all the parts come together.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I like that. It kind of reminded me on like for vision casting, like some people may overcomplicate it as well. Like I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are typically like the best at ideation. So on the opposite spectrum, a lot of them don't know how to build the foundation. Like they oftentimes like over ideate one idea that they have, and it's over like idea, and like 10 years down the road, it's like you don't have anything right now. So I'm like curious on what's the middle ground of that? Like how do you act in today while still keeping the vision? I personally like think it's like writing it down. You ain't go lightly. I just showed him actually like a second ago. You missed it, but I showed him like how I work out, like for my consulting and stuff like that. How I work out, what I said I was gonna do before I knew any context. So we signed an agreement. I don't know everything about the business. I can just see what I observed and I can fix and what you told me. And I have that like literally printed at the beginning, and that never changes. So I can always go back and like, this was the initial assignment. This is the first thing. And it's always on foundation. At the very least, I know that we need to fix these things. Until we fix these things, I can't even move on to the things I gain context with 2 weeks and 3 weeks after, once we've had more conversations or I've seen more parts of the business.
Yeah.
So
that's a good, I like that, because it's even like it's good to like have your first impression of something, especially like what you said, like especially a consultant, like, okay, here are my first thoughts on like a solution, what like diagnosing what your issue is or what I'm going to do.
right.
And then at least you can always reference that, even if the information changes and like your end result's different, but at least you knew, like, because at one point you thought this, so it means that other people are going to think similarly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how at least I build up the practicality of a vision. I don't know. I feel like I'm decent at executing. Like I'm decent at, hey, here's my observation. And then like step in order to get to like, all right, this is what I think it can be. I don't think I'm extremely creative when it comes to ideas, like vision planning. Hey, this is where it can go. I may have like the end goal, but I don't have like, oh, this is the small details of every single thing. I developed those along the way.
And I don't think everyone is going to be good at like, either of those fully, right? Like
it takes a balance.
Absolutely. Like we worked with, I'm trying to think of like good examples. Like we've worked with leaders in the past who are really good at lofty, like far away goals, but like, so they're a visionary, right? But then they're not good at how to get there.
Okay, so you got to witness this, Kenny, and like I was thinking of like brain surgeons for a second while we've been talking, like how brain surgeons like see something on like what do you call that, the X-ray? Brain surgeons see something on the X-ray and then they open it up and like, okay, this is actually the issue. This is exactly where it is. Like at first you got that first vision, and then once you actually dive in, you have like the next step. But we actually saw in a company where like there was one person who had the vision when there was nothing, and then they led out the company, built it to a certain point, and then they brought in somebody else like, hey, I brought this as far as I possibly can go. My vision, my expertise is, I think, it actually what it was. Hey, just for example's sake, hey, I'm a CEO who's good at operations, but I'm only good when it comes to the marketing person backing them up. So first we need somebody who's a marketer. Bring in the marketer, have them build it up. Before there's a marketer, there needs to be a product person, and building out specifically a tech platform. I feel like I've actually seen that happen. Product person, like, hey, we got a product. And it's like, well, now we need somebody to market it. Let me hire somebody above me to market it. Oh, marketing person's like, perfect. Now we're marketing and we got all these people. Now we need somebody to actually run a business and operate it. So like, that's kind of like the expertise thing that you were just talking about, is no, everyone cannot do everything. And it takes to figure it out.
Yes, exactly that point. It takes a bunch of self-awareness to just know when you reach your capability and being able to let go and like hand it off to someone else.
I don't think people truly care to like try to figure out what they're good at for some reason. I feel like most people try to figure out where they can fit in more so.
this is an interesting topic. I think let's dive a little bit more into this because I have strong thoughts about this as well. I think, Gladly, what's your take on this? Like, do you think that people are content? Like, do you think a majority of people are content with where they are, or do you think there's a larger issue?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are somewhere in the middle. Like
Okay.
they're wherever, the shell has been created, right? So like, for example, I'm challenging you as your leader to accomplish X, Y, and Z. They get there and maybe a little bit further, So I think I'm somewhere in the middle. But that's a great point though.
Is
And
that
I'm just now being able to even think from that lens though, because like
yeah
as an individual contributor, it's just like, you're just doing what needs to be done.
yeah
So you don't know if you're going above and beyond, or if you're just meeting the minimum. You don't know your potential, or better yet, it sometimes takes others to recognize your potential.
yeah? I was gonna call back
Unless-
to
Yeah, unless you can really self-reflect, or you can really, challenge yourself and stay after it, like Leo, right? But this yeah, it takes sometimes some self-recognition and realization.
Can I ask a follow-up question to go lightly before
yeah,
your point?
absolutely.
Okay. Uh, we've all been in or in this position, but like the individual contributor, how do you see people? Like, do you see a difference between people who are visionaries specifically, like that's where their expertise is, or people who like execute in practicality every single day? Like, go lightly, have you seen managers in your space, or you've probably been that at one point? Like, you're a manager, bro. We just had this talk. Like, you're not just an individual contributor.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have seen it, and I've seen leaders who great, great with ideas, great with long-term vision goals and stuff like that. But at the same time, sometimes they also want to drive. And to your point, because they keep bouncing out their goals, and what you spoke about earlier, they pretty much they got a true north, right? So they know they got guidelines to stay on. This is our initiatives and what we're going to follow. So along the way, it's fine to veer left and right a little bit, but at the same time, stay true north. So yeah, I've seen the ones that have the great ideas, the great philosophies, you name it, but at the same time, they want to do too much. So because of it, you have people that could probably be a better pioneer, but you are, overbearing with your abilities and your positions. So that's how you make it 6 months down the line, and we say, guys, what happened?
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right, Katie, do you had a thought? Sorry, we derailed a little bit.
No, no, that was good. I was trying to think about it. I lost my original thought, but no, I mean, basically, I was just gonna say, like, I think going back to the base question of do people, I think sometimes people don't know where to grow, like in what direction, right? So this kind of call back to a previous discussion we've had where sometimes they don't know their potential yet. But going along your question though, with like the visionaries and like I've been I've worked under leaders who are great at seeing far ahead and great at planning far ahead, but not but don't necessarily have a good method of how to get there, right? Like, oh, this is where we want to be in a year. Here, this is my vision. Um, but then all the building blocks leading up to it,
Yeah.
they don't know. But then I've also worked with ones who are the opposite, who are really good at at shorter term goals. And then I think there are definitely people who are good at both, who can do both, who can picture like a year end goal and then work towards it. But I think the most successful companies and people, I think it takes a team.
Yep. Yep.
100%. The question was, I just remember the question was around like, do you think that most people are self-aware and realizing their abilities, what they want, or are most people like, I'd rather just get in where I can fit in? Like me, I know now, like it took me a long time, but I know now that I belong in positions where I'm an operator or a marketer.
Yeah.
Like those two things, like if you put me in one of those positions, no matter what kind of company it is, I can build standard operating procedures I can give you the step by step, and then I can build your brand voice. I can build marketing, like those two things. No matter where you put me, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
So I only push to be in those positions rather than like, oh, okay, someone wants to hire me because I have a marketing background. This is a marketing company. No, I'm going to go to a pharma company because I see the potential of the pharma company and they have an operating or marketing position open.
But then how long did it take you to know your strengths? How did you discover?
It took me a long time. Good question. So I think we might have talked about this, but my freshman year of college, I majored in marketing. And I knew at that point, like marketing was an interest of mine, like a passion of mine. And then my probably 6 years after that, I got put in an operations position, which I was getting in where I could fit in at this point. Happened to get very lucky and realize I was good at operations logistics. Like that's something that I like kind of innately know how to do. I had to hone the skill. I went to Lean Six Sigma. Like I've done a bunch of things to get better at the skill and project management and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I've developed it. And now I just make sure I put myself in positions now to where I can like learn it and grow it. But I don't know. In college, I even did some like basketball operations stuff, but that was me just trying to be around basketball. And the basketball operations people did marketing too. So it was like I was trying to get as close as I could to it. It happened to work out for me, I guess.
What about someone who's in a situation where maybe there's a lot of urgency behind them, right? So they don't have maybe the freedom or the space to be able to find the position that they to like to discover that.
Now you're getting to it, Kenny. Now you're getting to it. I'm gonna answer your question and I'm gonna make myself a note so I don't forget this. But if you're in a sense of urgency, that's when you need to start creating that vision. So people do vision boards. New Year's is about to come around. Like people do vision boards all the time. People set New Year's resolutions all the time. Everybody has vision. How creative or how passionate you are about what you actually want versus what looks cool is where the difference is. So I knew I was willing to take less money to learn for the first like 15 years of my career, not like just my life. Some people look at like life as in like I need it all set by 30. I said, no, like if I'm done with college at 21, 22, I'll give another 15 years of learning to put myself in a good position. Okay. But I think that you have to maybe take a little bit of risk. Things are urgent. Take a little bit of risk and be like, hey, I can learn here. Like take whatever salary you can get. The urgency is the urgency. So whatever numbers you need to hit. But take that and figure out the vision for learning. When I was at that 55-person company, every single thing I was doing was trying to build up a position for me so I can get out of the current situation that I was in. I was an SDR. I'll put out there, I was an SDR at one point. I didn't become an SDR because that's what I needed. I was a supervisor of a multi-million-dollar franchise, and I decided to take, one of the lowest positions in the tech field because I wanted to get in the tech field. I needed to learn tech. The company I was working for before, I felt that they needed to go into the tech avenue. So the urgency is going to be there. I still needed money. I wasn't making, a lot of money at this time in my career. So yeah, urgency. I need to find something now that's going to pay my bills. Sure. But you also need to figure out how, once you get to that spot, that you can now learn something else. It's all about learning.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Can I go on my other tangent, or should I stay here for a little bit?
Unless, Gladly, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, before we get a little left field, I think to the original question, I would sprinkle on top of that. What about the organization or the environment that grooms, that growth or that personal development?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
What about that environment or that place that is pushing you instead of, the tension and the deadlines and the strictness and be right here, do X, Y, and Z because it's what the job entails. What if you're in an environment that is, promoting that sort of growth, and they're asking you, what do you want to do? What are you good at? What are you not good at? I just think that right there, because I was recently, I've came into this industry, and that's been brand new to me. So it tapped on some gauges and some levers that I haven't touched in a while, right?
Mhm.
So coming from heads of companies and stuff like that, that for one, kind of restored my faith in the workplace. But at the same time, it also was a self check to say, okay, look, you can't fold on your goals. You can't fold on your complacency, because at the end of the day, it's only going to bring more.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when I got, somebody who could literally easily just say, okay, you know what? Well, we got you in this corner over here. You agreed to this corner, so we're going to keep you right here.
Yeah.
But to have someone say, you know what? No, like, I want to know what makes you tick. I want to continue to challenge you at your own pace.
Yeah.
So
Leadership is super important.
that caught me off guard, man. And I think that right there, that self-check and that self-awareness also brings even more growth, because yeah, you could easily be that person just because you feel like it's the right thing to do for the situation or the organization. But yeah, it could cost you a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I actually think that, to continue to answer your question, Kenny, I think that was one of the main reasons that I chose to go to the company I did too, was I was looking for a leader or peers to teach me.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's just say I was in a desperate situation. Like, finances is finances. Like, if you're in a desperate situation with finances, you need to find a job that literally meets that financial mark. Like, let's keep it simple with that. But when it comes to like actual personal and career growth, like, find somewhere where you can either learn in the job, find somewhere where you can learn from your peers and your leaders, because just learning from your leaders is only going to take you so far, because their job is to lead you and to self-enable you. Like, leaders' jobs aren't to drag you along, it's to literally give you the tools. Your mentors give you the tools so you can then go and act.
Mm.
But your peers, the people that you work alongside of, us, like having competitions on, whether it's salary or creating a project or whatever it is, like me working with my peers, like that's a whole nother subject, because that's every single day. That's accountability. That's the benchmark for how I'm doing in my role. Like, that's so much more too. So good point, go lightly on what environment you put yourself in, because that could be the most important.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going on my tangent now. So if you're not in a desperate situation, especially if you are young, I think one of the best things that I did in my life, and I'm telling you right now, no matter if we're listening to this 30 years from now, okay, volunteering, secret sauce,
Mm-hmm.
volunteering. And maybe right now I'm talking to the people who are really pushing, you really want more in life, like more than average, like volunteer, specifically volunteer. Okay, I'm telling you to do things without getting paid.
Mm.
I volunteered, I had a job, I played a sport, and volunteered every semester of my college degree or years. So think about how many jobs I had to bring to the next job in college, let alone after college. Think about how much experience I had. Think about, to answer your question, Kenny, about how did I figure out what I was good at and what I liked. I had
Mhm.
tried so many things. I
Yeah.
was the marketing director for our dorms. I did plumbing, so, to get some hands-on experience to see if I would like that. I was an electrician. I worked at YMCA on scheduling. Like, I volunteered for as much as I possibly could too. So I figured out what I liked and what I don't like.
Mm. It's a
And
great point.
and I say all of this because I think I avoided a lot of desperate situations because I volunteered. Granted, if you're older, you got kids, you got a family to take care of, maybe you don't have the time to do this. You can find it, but if you're young, I'm talking about if you're 14 to 21, the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
You're 14 to 21 right now, Yes, you can volunteer somewhere. I don't
Yeah.
care where it is. Somebody needs some help too. Okay. nobody's out there turning down volunteers. I think that's my
Can I throw two more out there, man?
Please, please.
So we got volunteer, right? I think we also need to crank up the sacrifice and completely turn off the pride. You know, as a close friend, as a mentor, you name it, various positions, I see a lot of potential walk out of places, walk away from opportunities, walk away from relationships, you name it. And the reason for it, a lot of times, because they're not willing to sacrifice. You know, social media makes everything seem like you got to start off right at the top of the move. I'm talking about it. We got people that's oh man, that IT desk job, I would never. That's $17 an hour. This and that, I would never do that. They need to pay me, blah, blah, blah. Why should they pay you that? What skills do you have? You know, or just in general, like I wouldn't let nobody talk to me like that. Little stuff like that. You know what I mean? To where it's like, how bad do you want what you're getting after? Do you know what you how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
And then in that regard, you got to be able to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Like I've seen people who were on the cusp of promotion, seen people who are on the cusp of getting hired from contracts, you name it. But because of, you know, they weren't willing to, they were no longer willing to make the sacrifice, or they, you know, let their pride get the best of them. They walked away from what could have been a life-changing opportunity. So some people don't even know, they haven't even experienced like a life-changing opportunity, you know. And it's because, in my opinion, those three things. Just wanted to add to that, man. You was on the pedestal. I was loving it, man. I was loving it.
You said crank up the sacrifice, turn off the pride.
Turn it off. You say you was an electrician for a while, right? Go ahead and turn that off. Just unplug it.
Find a breaker box to your pride.
Take it out. Let's turn it off for the winter, however long.
Kitty, what do you think? If someone's in a desperate situation, did you have an answer to that at all, or no?
I think it depends. I think you have to be willing to take a risk, like what you said. You also have to be willing to sacrifice, right? Like you're not going to get everything you want. You can't expect instant gratification or to be, you know, at the finish line ready. Like not everyone stumbles into that situation, right? It's unrealistic to expect that as well.
Yeah.
And also just like you have to, along with the pride thing, it's like people need to learn people also need to learn how to ask for help. If like there's no shame in reaching out for help, for advice, for anything, right? Because it's like, at least for me, like if someone reaches out for me for help, like I have your best interest in mind. Like
yeah.
I'm not going to judge you or anything. Like it takes a lot to ask someone for help, and I think it takes a lot of self-awareness, like we talked about earlier in this call or in this podcast, like to be aware of like I can't do this on my own, or I just need a nudge. I need some sort of consultation, or like what Lo said earlier, like just some rubber ducking where you're just you need someone just to be a soundboard, and then maybe the idea will come to you. So I think
that's huge.
Yeah. So yeah, I think all 3 points are good.
You say rubber ducking?
They call it rubber ducking. Yeah.
I think I've heard that for the first time twice.
Today? Yeah. So the concept of it is like sometimes you just need like a little bath rubber duck. You just set it in front of you, and you just talk to it. What's the problem? What problem are you experiencing? And sometimes you just need to actually say the words out loud, and then a solution will click in your head. You're like, oh shit, I see something now that I wasn't seeing before.
Yeah, when did this catch on?
You listen, this is what's so crazy to me. I have a senior consultant, right? And the phrase was just introduced to me earlier this week. Senior consultant, also a developer. She's like, hey, you got a second? And the reason for that, of course, is because of the relationship that I quickly built. But I get on a call with her. She shows me this super complex business issue. I'm talking CTI involved. I'm talking a super customized organization. And she's talking me through it. And I'm just sitting here like, And we got to the end of it. And she solved it. She was like, thank you so much. Like, you really helped. All I was doing was just conversing with her, but I was keeping it relevant. But conversing, I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm sitting here like, this stuff is so custom. I ain't never seen nothing like this. And she just floating through it, and she's just sitting here bouncing ideas off me. Like, what do you think? I'm not, in my mind, contributing by any way, shape, or form. But by the end of it, she had it solved. And to Kenny's point, she was like, I just needed to talk it out. Teach it a little bit. Teaching, that's honestly what it is. A little bit of teaching yourself again. Repeat a bit of a jukebox. But you just repeat it. You're repeating it. And another thing that I heard that really pertains to this is they say that there's a difference between knowing something and then knowing something so well that you could verbalize it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's real easy up here until it comes to me having to communicate it to you. So
why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Like, you can know something, but like, I can't explain it right now,
Yeah, I think for me, I know it, I struggle with it all the time. And my excuse is I have a lot of thought processes or concepts that I'll just take and bank it. I'll just, I'll come back to this. So it's an incomplete thought process. So like all that is for me is that I have a lot of those. So once I start to verbalize it, it puts the pressure on the diamond. Now you got to formulate something right. And then I got to deliver it to you. It's got to make sense, of course. So I think it just results in higher quality of a learning process.
Okay.
In my opinion, I just know that's my excuse, and it's the truth. If I had to verbalize whatever's going on up here, it's a lot of incomplete thought processes.
Yeah.
It just helps, to put things together by talking about it, dragging everything out. And then by the time you bump your head into the solution and you get to the end of it, you be like, man, I really did know that, huh?
I think part of it is practice, but I think also another part of it is, I think most of the time we know how to, like, a lot of us will, if we run into a problem or something, we'll figure out the solution. Like we'll bump in, we'll bump our way there and run into a bunch of walls. I think part of it is not being able to verbalize is when you don't fully understand when you don't fully understand like the topic, right? So like I might have my interpretation of it, but that's because I stumbled upon it. I did a lot of trial and error to figure it out myself. And it's like I don't fully understand maybe like the underlying issue, but I know how it works for me. Like I know how I got it to work.
Like code, is that what you're telling me?
Essentially, but even just like other things, I think a lot of it also is practice. It's like if you've talked about something a lot, then I think you start learning how to communicate it better. So like the first time you talk about something, you're gonna fumble with your words, because same thing, I do the same thing, Lois. Like I'll have a bunch of incomplete thoughts in my head. Like I'll get scatterbrained, but it makes sense because in my head I can connect everything.
Yeah.
But then the moment I'm asked to speak about it, I'm like, oh shit, okay. How do I connect all these points really quick? I'm just gonna word vomit a bunch of them until something makes sense.
And that's not to put us on a tangent here, but I think it's the same thing when somebody asks you the simple question, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know everything about you, but why is it so hard for you to sit here and talk to somebody about everything you've accomplished, why it pertains to the role, stuff like that, but it's just one of those things that like you haven't really completely digested, formulated a flow to yourself.
I think y'all just answered. What were you about to say, Kitty?
I was gonna say that could be another topic for another time. Like that, I think
we can go the long mile.
I think that question is the most wrongly answered question in candidates. But let's put a pin in that. Let's note that. I'm just gonna drop that line right there.
I would love to come back to this though.
Yeah, I just learned how to answer that question. So
okay.
Yeah.
I made the note. Okay, so what I picked up from both what y'all was saying was you don't have context about the question. So like go lightly. You just said that like somebody asked you, tell me about yourself. You're over here like looking around like SpongeBob, but like it's because you don't have context of the question, not based on what they're asking, but you haven't developed that complete thought of context. In what context do I exist?
Yeah.
So part of self-awareness, for whatever question somebody's asking, like, hey, can you explain this to me? Oh, I can explain it to you in a general sense, but I can't explain it to you with any context.
In this particular one, it's like super, super specific. I mean, I can try. You know what I mean?
But
And
you haven't thought about it enough to like
Yeah.
put context around it or even
yeah.
create contextual situations.
I think that's a lot of, and that's the thing with IT is because almost every story or every issue is super duper like granular, super specific these days. Oh, I got this that I want to do this for this industry, this application, this record, this case. It's like, geez, I can't. Okay, wait. Where are we at? Okay, we on 10th Street. All right, we on 10th Street. Where are we going after? You know, it's like for one, finding your way, talking through it too, though. But yeah, it's funny to me, man. I think it'll be forever a mystery to me. Great point, though. Great point. That context, you're walking into it and not knowing. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think this is probably a good practice for anything that you're learning now. I'm about to test drive it, but like think about this. You learn something. Let's say how to make a podcast, how to upload a video onto YouTube, how to public speak, whatever it is, like how to make a podcast. Can you tell me how to make a podcast? Whoever it is, the best podcaster in the world can give you an answer, but they're going to have to ask questions and build context. So whenever you're learning something from now on, I suggest you try to build context around it. How do you build a podcast based on personal development that's going to be posted once a week? That's, building context around it. And now I can teach you how to go and do something.
That's a great point.
So this is probably this is how I think as an operator. This is how you can build that plan that, we're talking about strategy and stuff like that a couple weeks ago. But like, this is how you build a plan around probably anything in life, or even let's just talk about like learning anything in life is create context, even if it's imaginary, create context around it.
I have to keep that makes me think too. Every little, you see those little interviews, and they say, how do I start a business? Or what advice, they go to a millionaire. What advice can you give me? First thing they do is they build context. How old are you?
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. And all the people putting out the general information is
First thing you got to do, man, buy my course.
Facts.
Step one, buy the course.
And that's why, and I love this model, even though it's not economically smart on time, the free consultation for any business that's providing a service, a plumber, a painter, anyone should like, hey, I'll give you a free consultation so I can see what the issue is, because sometimes we can't even diagnose it.
Yeah.
There may be, I had in one of my houses, I had like a mold issue or whatever. And I thought that I can go to a restorative team because I thought it was a bigger issue than it actually was. And, they came out, checked it out. I was like, hey, like, this isn't even that big of an issue. All you got to do is like use this and this and this and it's done. I'm like, oh, okay. But somebody else be like, oh yeah, we'll come out and fix it for $500.
Yeah. So we say, go ahead and sign here and here. All right, cool. We can't even fix that, but we appreciate your time, and we'll refer you to somebody else. It's a guy down the street.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Transparency is admirable, though.
Yo, so this is wild. I'm in the process of getting another Jeep, y'all. Like any day, I'll have my new Jeep. And everybody does the car shopping thing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think most Jeep people, like, we had this list because Jeeps are so customizable. Kitty's already like dog. I can see it right now. Oh, here we go.
I got thoughts on Jeep people, but go ahead.
I know you do. Hey, remember that rubber ducky comment you made earlier? You gotta love us Jeep people, because
I know that's a Jeep thing, right?
Yeah.
You put like rubber, yeah. Jeep.
All right, I think that's
go ahead. No, I'm not gonna interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh god.
Thanks, Kitty, for being so gracious.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a point to the story. So I normally don't spend more than an hour at any dealership. Like, I don't have an interest in being there that long, testing out all these cars. I go online, I check out everything. I go with like, hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And I go around and I look, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's try these 3 vehicles. I don't even want to test drive them all. I literally just want to see if they have everything I need. I know what a brand new car does. Okay. I don't need to test drive all of them. So this particular instance, they had me test drive 2 of them. I was like, I'm not test driving the third one, like, done before, but they want to have the model between the gas and the electric. Okay. Having a good experience. I tried both of these out. It ends up being like an hour and a half until I'm sitting down at the table with the salesman. Okay. When I sit down at the table with the salesman, I'm going to get my prices to see if, hey, cool, this work out for me. I'm gonna sign it today, sign it tomorrow, whatever. Or I'm gonna go shop around. One of the two. I want the prices so I can make a decision, building context around my sale. So I sit down with the dude, and we know. I told you, as soon as I got there, I pointed at 3 vehicles and was like, "These are the 3 that I'm considering." That's it. Okay, that hasn't changed in the hour and a half. Hasn't changed. Sit down, and dude pulls out a piece of paper, asks me like some basic questions, email, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Can we get the price? Goes back to the office, brings back another piece of paper. He has written on there. He's like, hey, can I earn your business today if we agree on everything? And I'm like, literally, my face was like, and it's like a line at the bottom of the paper, blank piece of paper, okay? Not some document on a sale, not with prices, not with specs, literally blank piece of paper. And he has it written on there, handwritten, like, sign this document. I'm looking at him like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about here? That kind of just reminded me. I'm like, it could have been a yes if I had a price to a vehicle.
Yeah.
It could have been a yes if it was like, hey, I got a deal for you. But literally it was like, if we agree on everything today, what are we agreeing on?
He was about to go back there and hey.
Take my signature. But that just kind of reminded me. I was trying to figure out this whole time for weeks now. Why was I so thrown off? Other than like he wanted me to sign something, like everything was going perfect until that one situation. It's because, I didn't have context around like why did this change up so much?
Right.
If he would have built context around the sale, he probably could have closed me on that day.
Yeah, you would have probably bought a Jeep and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Exactly. And now because that instance happened, I had 2 weeks I've been doing so much research, y'all. I've been doing so much research. It is bad. I'm talking about rabbit holes to 3 a.m. for the past 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
I've been there.
It's been so crazy.
Have you decided on a car yet then? Or?
Yeah, I have decided. I'm going to try to, because there's one vehicle at the same place and there's another vehicle at another place. So I'm trying to like get the price off. Now I know, negotiating tactics. I know how to negotiate parts down. People, by the way, this is a thing probably a lot of people don't know. People don't pay MSRP for vehicles. So you see the sticker price, and normally I think people think that the price is going to go up from there from taxes. A lot of people out there who know about vehicles and how to buy cars and negotiate, they don't even pay the sticker price for the vehicle.
Yeah, man. I had an experience myself. I went in to go look at a caddy. It was some tomfoolery going on there.
Yeah, they can negotiate everything.
Oh yeah, 100%. I realized that when he said that, when I was walking out of the door, like, well, wait a minute. Why didn't you say that when I walked in?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
I'm having this conversation now.
Yeah, okay.
No, it just reminded me of that, the whole no context thing. But yeah, that was wild. So yeah, I know which one I'm gonna get. Well, let me not say that because my mind could definitely be changed. I love Jeeps way too much, and
we don't know which one it is, man.
I know. So you're right. Hey, I know exactly. Let me cut this out. I know exactly.
He said he was getting the red one.
Exactly which one I'm about to get. But yeah, I'm excited, y'all. Hey, what you got against Jeep people, Kenny?
Nothing, man. I just
go ahead and air it out. Obviously, got something to say.
We're trying to air it out now, dude. I just don't like Jeeps, man. I think they're so fucking overrated.
Okay, explain.
Like, okay, if you live in an area where you can actually use a Jeep, okay, it depends. If you own like, I gotta look at the Jeep models now, because in my opinion, if you have like, what is it, like a Rubicon or like, the actual box Jeep Wrangler and shit, like you better be fucking using that. Like you have to live in an area where you can go camping, you can go like driving in the mountains and shit. If you live in the city and you're driving that, you're a tool.
Oh dang!
Hey, you think you've seen them boys at Midwest Fest and stuff, man? Ones on the Jeeps and 30s and all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I can't say I'm a purist. My first Wrangler was a Sahara Unlimited, so I had it. Go lightly seeing it. And Kai, bless your soul right now, because Kai makes fun of me every single time he gets a chance about me having my Sahara. Every time. But the Sahara is, that was their luxury Jeep. And now people are starting to get them as everyday vehicles, which to me is weird. But I got it because I wanted, GPS. Like I needed GPS because I traveled so much. Me and Zeus slept out of the back of the Jeep way too much. So yeah, definitely don't want a Rubicon.
But that's getting good use out of your vehicle though, right? Like they're meant to travel. It's just for me, it's more so like the city boys who are gonna buy it and then like you're just a tool, right? Like you're not going out and using it. Like we drove a Jeep all through like Colorado and shit.
Yeah, you did.
And
Yo, we need to talk about that one day. We need to talk about travel and
I like them. I like Jeeps as a vehicle. I don't like Jeep owners.
Hey, mark my words. No. It's too late, man. You already say what you had to say.
I know. I'll die on that hill. I'm standing by it.
Oh man.
Yo, I bet you Jeep is gonna be one of the top soccer mom vehicles in 5 years.
I mean, it kind of already is. Like,
yeah, I'm about to say, have you seen Jeep?
You think so?
Yeah,
I think
Wrangler, not Wagoneer or Grand Cherokee. I'm talking about Wranglers.
Wranglers are.
It was in Florida. You seen the little Jeep, man? Yeah, man. I think I'm not. I won't say right now, but I think sooner than you said 5 years.
I think it's, yeah, dude. They're
not right now. I'd say another year.
Bro, suburban moms love that shit. They fucking love Jeeps.
You ain't seen them with the little stickers on the back talking about this and all that, man. It's coming. They want to feel young again.
Oh shit. I'm not about to put people on blast, but I got people close to me that have.
It's too late. You didn't already say what you had to say, man. Put them and me on blast. I feel like I'm a city boy with my Jeep. I don't care. Like
just don't be one of those park on every curb you get a chance to. Don't be one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Also, that's what I'm talking about. Don't take up 2 parking spots.
I think y'all just jealous.
That'd be quite all right. 1 parking spot. Don't park on no curbs. Don't park on another Jeep's tire.
If you're gonna park in multiple parking spots, park in the back of the parking lot.
Back. I agree with that. I agree. Yeah. All right. Why y'all get me on this tangent? This is y'all fault.
You started it, man.
I want to say
you did start it.
Have y'all seen the if we shouldn't go long down this trail because I'm not a fan of politics, but I want to talk about politics real quick. Have y'all seen the P.E.A.C.E? It's a Hulu special, Breaking with the President. Guessing not. It's on Hulu. If you're watching this right now, you should check it out. It's very interesting. No matter what side of the aisle that you sit on, you should check that out. Very important, I think, to know what's going on in our world. Don't get too consumed in it, which maybe we can talk about. Don't get too consumed in politics because these people are acting in their self-interest from their perspective, which we're all doing. Doesn't mean that it's a negative thing, no matter who you're talking about, but they're acting in their own self-interest. Your worst enemy is acting in their own self-interest, and your hero is also doing the same.
I think you got issues if your hero is a political figure.
Well, I'm not saying that. I wasn't saying that. Oh, Kenny loaded today, boy.
I'm about to say Kenny has spoken.
Loaded today.
You get that on a shirt, Kenny has spoken.
But I do want to say, I want us to bring up, I don't want us to be like, yo, this is my favorite person that's run for president, et cetera, but we need to create some fun way to kind of call out some politicians here. For example, like celebrities that are running for president. We just had an announcement that Mr. Donald Trump is going to be running for the 3rd time, is it? I think. Yeah, the 3rd time he's running. I'm curious on if Kanye is going to run or not, because it seemed like he gave a lot of hints to it.
What if they run together?
Exactly. I don't know. Because I don't want to spoil it too much, but from what I gathered from the Mike Pence thing, I think he might also run.
It's gonna be interesting
by himself. Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested to see, and like I said, I don't want to make this a political thing, but I definitely want to call out some possible celebrities and stuff that got going on. So that's cool. Dang, there was something else I'm about to say. Anything y'all got before we jump into what has inspired y'all for the week?
I got nothing.
All right, cool. Somebody else kick it off this time.
Did I kick it off last time?
No, you did not.
I did not kick it off. All right.
Yeah, so you're kicking it off now.
Yeah. So
Thanks for volunteering. That's what they say in the military, right? Thanks for volunteering.
No, that's what you call voluntold, man.
Yeah.
Now one thing that inspired me this week though, from a few conversations that I've had with my leadership team so far was the fact that I was told that the position that I'm in now, which already is a challenge for me, they already told me that they can envision me being higher. You know, I'm looking at you as an engagement manager. I'm looking at you as a product owner. You know, I can see that down the line. So that's what inspired me this week. Like I said, some people that can see things that you can't, and just sometimes it's just good to dial in with yourself, and also, like I said, keep that true north. So that's what inspired me this week.
Like it.
No, that's awesome. This conversation inspired me this week.
Woo! Kenny has spoken.
No, you're laughing, but it really has.
That's good. That's good.
No, I love coming out here and
Yeah.
getting energizing conversations. Outside of that, man, I'm trying to think. Holidays coming up, that's inspired me.
Yeah,
Just being close to family, just knowing that's on the finish line, but also knowing how important it is to my work that family comes first, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all working, right? Like my company is a for-profit company, but the leadership is very human, and that's also really inspiring for me.
That's good. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. I got to go to Hawkers this week. This might be a regular occurrence on the podcast, as Hawkers mentioned. Hawkers, you don't know Hawkers?
How long did it take you to get there?
It's like a 30-minute drive around here. There's two of them pretty close by.
What the
Hawkers,
hell?
Asian street food, Kenny. There is one
I've never heard
when we went.
Why didn't we go in Atlanta? No, this shit.
Because I went.
Whoa, this looks gas. Hold on, tangent. What did you get?
Yeah, I went. Okay, well, listeners out there, this is extremely important in my life. Okay, extremely important. Hawkers, like for real. You're in Florida. There's multiple. There was one in Atlanta. I heard that there's one like in Maine or Connecticut or something like that.
Nashville. There's one in Nashville.
Yeah, they're kind of growing. Anyway, I got and I got to give all the credit to Austin Reach on this. I can't take credit for finding this place. But are you taking notes on what you're about to get, Kenny? Because I'm gonna give you the whole rundown. You get the steamed bao buns, the spicy chicken. You see that on there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You get that. You get the roti.
Roti's good.
Extra roti. Okay. You get the twice fried
Korean chicken wings.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
If you like soup dumplings and stuff like that, get the soup dumplings.
If you don't talk to me.
Those are the key elements to the meal. I suggest you always get those. Whenever I go, I always get those. And then sometimes I add in some extra things. Like this time I got some of the donuts. You know what I'm saying? So, but always get those things that I mentioned. Okay. You know, pin this podcast or whatever. Like, take notes. Maybe you rewind it and go back and take notes or something. But yeah. Kenny, next time you go, just let me know or come down here or whatever.
No, I'm about to be in Charlotte this weekend, so there's one in Charlotte, so I'll be there for a couple days.
Perfect. Maybe I had to fly out to give me some Hawkers.
Fly past.
No. What else inspired me this week? I got a phone call from a friend. And I love this when people call me up super energized. It's either for two things: hey, I need help, or hey, I got this really cool idea that I think will change my life. And it's not just the idea that kind of like inspired me, but the outlook that that person got on the rest of their life from that idea.
That's awesome.
So, I always hope that that fire kind of stays, like no matter if you have $1 million idea or if you find a job that you really like being able to keep that fire and staying motivated. So to hear them like I'm talking about like crazy motivated, like, yo, this might change my life. And like, hopefully it already has, whether it comes to fruition or not. So yeah, that inspired me.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's super dope.
Yeah, holidays are coming up, so happy holidays, everybody. Whatever holiday it is that you're listening to this, happy holidays. But I think we're ready to sign off. Y'all got anything else? Kenny, you wanna drop another bomb or anything? Are you?
No, I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
Are you
I'm
finished?
good.
Are you done?
I'm straight. I'm good. I got more, but I gotta save them.
Lowe's, you good?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
All right. I appreciate y'all for listening. Invite your friends. If you want to hop on the podcast, you got somebody else that you want to see, hop on this or whatever. But all in all, the most important thing is pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Peace. Yo, thank you for tuning into the P.E.A.C.E podcast. This podcast actually started off with 4 friends sitting around a table once a week. We were having conversations to educate ourselves about the world around us, talking about what we're dealing with day to day as regular people, and simply to self-reflect. So that's all that you're seeing us do here, and you're getting to see it live. So I challenge you to do the same thing. If you've made it this far, obviously something caught your attention. So get a group of friends and build a small community and start to join in the conversation. Like, these are tough conversations. These are fun conversations, but these are conversations that are needed to be had. In fact, I want to make it easy for you. If you're listening to this podcast at home, invite a friend over. Or maybe invite 2 friends over, 3 friends over, whatever it is. Turn your TV on, your computer, your phone, wherever you want to watch it, turn the podcast on, okay? And join in the conversation. If you're listening to this maybe on run, at the gym, I get it. I do the exact same thing. But maybe you can share the link, clip the file or something like that, and just pose one of the questions that you heard here today. The point is to build community and to self-reflect. Oftentimes, we don't vocalize the things that we need to work on, and that's one small way that I think that we can, help improve ourselves, improve others, and most importantly, pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you again next week. Peace.